the Hagoshes Geula Letfila, the meaning of Smichas Geula Letfila, that we say Gal Yisrael, right immediately following that, we start Shemoneh Esrei because Geula is the level of Yosef, Tefillah is the level of Yehuda, but we ask that seemingly it's flipped around because the Seder in the of Yosef and Yehuda is that Yehuda was subservient to Yosef. Yehuda, which is davening, was approaching and trying to reach the level of Yosef, the level of Geula. But in davening, it's not that way. In davening, it's the other way around. It's the tefillah that is following and the higher level over the Geula. So to explain that, the Rebbe is going to go into Chanukah. Line 15, second page on a mimer, Ois Beis, page Vav. V'yuvan, this will be understood, Behegdim, Sheparsha Zukayim B'smichus L'Chanukah. This parsha of Yigash we read in close proximity to Chanukah. Like now, we finished Chanukah yesterday, and we're going to read it tomorrow. Moving for this understood, the general idea that it's explained over here about the smichas geula l'tefillah, about Vayigash Yosef Yehuda Yosef, has to do with Chanukah. So now he's going to bring down an idea of the left and the right again, similar to what we had in the previous mimer about Chanukah being placed on the left. He's not going to go into questioning, he's just going to explain it straightforward. The idea behind this is the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah is to place it. So the mezuzah should be on the right, and the Chanukah candle should be on the left. What is the idea of right symbolize? That's what the right is. You give with the right. You mashpia with the right. It's the stronger hand. It's symbolic of chesed. Chesed is someone that has more shares with someone that has less. That is coming ashpa from above to below. The smoil, the idea of the left, it's about raising up from below to above. What does the left have to do with raising up from below to above? So the Rebbe says in the parentheses, like the expression, the pasuk smoil, his left is under my head. Smoil. It is what elevates and raises up the head of the Yidden. Because Hashem in Shir Hashirim is speaking about his connection with the Yidden, his love between himself and the Yidden with him. And he describes, and it's described over there, how his right embraces me and his left is under his head. What's it mean, under the head of the Yidden? The left is about raising the head from Knesset Yisrael. So we see left is about raising up. So now we can understand this juxtaposition of the mezuzah on the right and the Chanukah candles on the left. Line 24, mezuzah miyamin, that's what it means, that the mezuzah is on your right. Chezehu klolos inin Torah mitzvahs. Mezuzah represents the general idea of Torah mitzvahs. Ki Torah inyanam shachem al ma'il. Torah is drawing down from above. Like we said, the idea of the right is chesed, hashpah from above. Why is Torah drawing down from above? Since it is the words of Hashem, like it says, behold, my words are like fire. The emphasis over here is not on the fire part. The emphasis is that it's my words. So Hashem is communicating himself, his words, to us. Similarly, the same thing, mitzvahs. And in general, all mitzvahs are represented by tzedakah. And tzedakah is obviously chesed and ashpah, inyana, ashpah is chaim and chesed. Tzedakah is about giving over life and kindness. So, also the word chesed, oisios, top of page Zayin, chas dalad. The word chesed could be that he's chas from the word has pity, mercy, compassion. Dalet from the word someone that's dal, someone that's poor. Leman the lesle megabe klum, someone that has nothing of his own. Shekol zeh bikav yamin makarebes. All of this is on the right line that the right brings closer. But the Chanukah candle is on the left. The idea of the left is raising up. So that's we have on the right, there's Torah mitzvahs. Ner Chanukah is about the left, as we will go on to explain. But before, and even before that, we can explain really how you could have both of them in even Torah mitzvahs. Hine, second paragraph on the page, line 4, Shnei in Yonim Elu, these two aspects, the mezuzah on the right and the Ner Chanukah on the left, they're the two types of traveling. The Rebbe very often refers to this in different mamarim, traveling from above to below and traveling from below to above. That's the general difference between Torah mitzvahs in general, shein yonam hahilach l'mayla mata, l'tfilah shein yonam hilach l'mata l'mayla. Torah mitzvahs is more about traveling, going from above to below, and davening is from below to above. Like it says about davening, sulam mutzav arza v'roisha magiyasha mayma. It's a ladder standing on the ground, and the top of it is reaching above. That's the idea of the ladder of davening. One rises up from below to above. So traveling from above to below versus below to above is Torah mitzvahs versus davening. Now he's going to go on and break it down even further, that there is Torah mitzvahs in general, that division in Torah mitzvahs. Well, Protis Yoser, more specifically, this is the difference between Torah and mitzvahs. Torah in Yana Ham Shachim al Maila Mata Torah, its idea is drawing down from above to below. Shezel. This is the idea Gam Shalimada Torah Tzarech Liyos, the Visalcha Berchava. Torah study has to be that I will go with broadness, with comfort. What does that mean? B'chayis v'lat mitakoch. A person needs to be passionate. He has to have a lot of vitality and energy in his Torah study. Like the expression of Zohar, la'afoshala, that it's an idea of increase, meaning all of these things show on expansiveness, on growth, on delight, if you will. As opposed to the actions of mitzvahs. So we know the word maisa is also from the word coercion. That just like it says, ma'asin al tzedakah, that one, in certain circumstances, Bezdin can force someone to give tzedakah, but an idea of forcing. That idea shows milmata l'maylo, when it's something that is being forced on the person, means that he's in a low state. He's coming to it from below, and he has to coerce himself to do it. Like it's explained in Ateres Roish with the Mittler Rebbe. Mitzvahs yesh kavonos gula pratis v'gam mitzvahs yesh kavonos gula pratis v'gam kavono klolos. Every mitzvah has its own specific intention and its own specific accomplishment and what it helps with. And then there's the general kavana that applies across the board by all mitzvahs. Va'ikaru, the primary thing what matters is loya kavana pratis, not the specific kavana of every individual mitzvah. Ela kavana klolis, the general common denominator type of intention. Where that is given expression in the bracha. This is found in what we say in the language of the bracha of the mitzvahs. That he sanctified us with his mitzvahs and he commanded us. His entire being is that he fulfills the command of Hashem. So that is the common intention of the mitzvahs, that I'm doing what Hashem commands me. So this is coming from below to above, that he is like we said before, coercing himself. He has no personal independence over here, that he's enjoying it. It's all coming like being forced up from below. Well, there's the gambit tefillah in a similar vein, also concerning davening. Shehim el mata l'mayla, that's from below to above. that also has a common and general intention in davening, in addition to the specific kavanas that there could be in certain parts of davening. Sheyesh ba'kavana klal is dalef miyat oimed. There hasn't it the general intention. Know before who you stand, like it says in Shulchan Aruch. The noise of laza. In addition to that general intention that you should know before who you stand, yesh nagam hakavana protis b'chol bracha top of page ches. There is the individual intention that's in every bracha of Shemoneh Esrei. We say tefillah in general goes on Shemoneh Esrei. So every bracha in Shemoneh Esrei has its own intention. And in general, you could divide it between the first three brachas versus the rest of the brachas. In this, there's a difference between the kavanah pratis, the individual intention of the first three brachas versus the rest of the brachas in Shemoneh Esrei. That we know that in the first three brachas, a person, if they did not have intention from me'ikar adin, they have to go back. But the other brachas, if he didn't have intention, he doesn't have to go back for it. But now, we do not repeat the davening, even if we did not have intention in the first three brachas, because there's no guarantee that if he says it again, he will have intention. But so that's the differences in levels of intention, the first three brachas versus the latter brachas. Regardless of that, there's one general across the board intention. Naval Afal became, but it's still in all tzarich lisa kavana klolis, that he has to know before he's davening. That's the main thing. He has to know that he's davening to Hashem, regardless if he had in mind all the specifics of the bracha. He has to know that he's standing in Shemoneh Esrei. He's doing so to address Hashem. And if he doesn't have that basic awareness that he's davening to Hashem, so his tefillah is completely worthless. He hasn't davened. Because the whole idea of davening is placing your request before Hashem. If you're not aware that you're davening to Hashem, then you haven't davened. Zeu close achiluk shbein inyan ha'torah shmil ma'il lamata le'inyan ha'maisa ha'mitzvos v'tefillah sheikram inyan hu inyan ha'ida v'abitl. This is the general difference between the idea of Torah, that's from above to below, and the actions of mitzvahs, that they're primarily the idea of admitting and praising and nullification, malmata l'mayla, from below to above. Despite that, even though we've just now divided mitzvahs into many different levels of malmata l'mayla, l'mayla mata, still in all, it doesn't come to the level of the left of the malmata l'mayla of Chanukah. Though in general these are two ways and two manners of traveling, that each one of them has their specific and unique time for it. More specifically, everything in Kedusha, it has the way it's in general, the way it's divided into details. So in other words, even though in general you could divide Torah mitzvahs versus davening as above to below and below to above, or Torah versus mitzvahs and davening between above to below and below to above, but still in all, there can be divided in a different manner, in more detailed manner. So yesh binyan Torah gufa, when it comes to Torah itself, I'm sorry, I wasn't, not that it's the Torah mitzvahs versus Chanukah, but in Torah itself, you can go further and, cutting and slicing and dicing and going even further the divisions. So in Torah itself, in Torah itself, there's not just a level of from above to below. There's also the elevation and ascent from below to above. Is not just the ascent and elevation from below to above, but gamin namshachim al lamata, both are drawing down from above to below. We spoke about this in other mamorim, that by davening he's drawing down, that Hashem should be roifeh cholim u'mevarach hashonim, so that's the drawing down from above to below. In Torah, there's the idea of the let's say the chidush that the person is supposed to add to Torah and so on. So there's the below to above. So now let's take it back to what we were talking about. Vayigash Elav Yehuda. Now we said it's Yehuda is the level of davening and Yosef is the level of Geula. So he says in Ois Gimel line 20 in the 4th page, Vayigash Elav Yehuda. That's where it says that Yehuda approached him. Shebachlolis or inyanat tefillah in general, it's referring to davening. Kaniska leil shagoshes Yudah lo Yosef in Yonas michas gula tefillah. Like was mentioned earlier, that the approach of Yehuda to Yosef is that Geula has to be Gal Yisrael has to be close to davening, meaning davening Shemoneh Esrei without any interruption. U'apratis Yosef, and breaking it down even more specifically, just like we said, we could break down in Torah itself, in davening itself. Yesh b'zeh shnei inyonim, there are two aspects. Ha'echad vayigash elav Yehuda sh'rinah lo milmata. One thing is Yehuda is approaching Yosef. Yehuda approaching Yosef means Yosef is higher. He's approaching him as a ruler. So Yehuda is approaching in a way from below to above. I am the servant and you are the master. Vasheni, but then there's another thing. The above coming down to below, that he said, Viamer bi Adoni. In the simple meaning, it means he asked to please hear me out. But bi Adoni means in me, my master. I want to draw down from your level into my level. It's the drawing down from above to below. So Vayigash Elav Yehuda is the approach from below to above, to result in that Yosef should be nimshach into Yehuda from above to below. Like Tzemach Tzedek explains in Oira Torah, Vayigash Elav Yehuda zeh shalosh rishonos d'Shmoneh Esrei. That's talking about the first 3 brachas of Shemoneh Esrei. We spoke about Yehuda as davening, but in davening there's different sections. In Shemoneh Esrei, different sections. So the first 3 brachas of Shemoneh Esrei, Shein Siddur Shvachim Shel Malkim, it says before you ask for your request, which begins from Ata Chainen, you should first arrange the praises of Hashem. Yehuda is in the word Hapam Oides Hashem Hoida. It's praises, it's thanks. So the same thing, we begin Shemoneh Esrei with the 3 first brachas. That is the Vayigash Elav Yehuda. V'achar kach bi Adoni. Afterwards, once we have this praising of Hashem in the first 3 brachas of Shemoneh Esrei, the Vayigash Elav Yehuda, then there's bi Adoni, bi hainu shteim esrei emtsois. Bi is in gematria of 12. Beis is 2, Yud is 10. You have 12. It's talking about the 12 middle brachas between the first 3 introductory and the final 3 concluding brachas Shemoneh Esrei. This is the 12 middle brachas where we ask all the requests, personal requests that we need. And through those requests, we are affecting Shal Yodam Poyalim Shetiyam Shacham Al Lamata. Through those 12 middle requests, we affect and cause there should be the drawing down from above to below. So that's Bi Adoni. Through the 12 brachas, we're being mamshich in davening from above to below. And the Tzemach Tzedek goes on to explain. Gam Ashakasu, top of page test. Vayigash Elav Yehuda Elav Daikim. Specifically why it says that Yehuda approached him. Vayigash Yehuda. Why does it have to say Elav? Yehuda higia kiviyachol l'bchinas b'chol karenu Elav. That Yehuda reached, so to speak, to the level of all who called to him. That the Sifri says we have to daven to him, to Hashem himself. That's why it says b'chol karenu Elav, that we call out to him and not to his attributes. We don't daven to Hashem's midah of chesed or and so on. Meaning, what does it mean? Elav mamish la'oire ein sof hamalubish b'as spheres. The infinite light of Hashem that's enclosed in the 10 spheres, not to the 10 spheres, but Hashem Himself. So that's what it means. Vayigash Elav Yehuda. That Yehuda, the level of the Halam Malmata Lamailo, reaches all the way to Elav, all the way to Hashem's infinite light. So the Rebbe explains, line 4, the idea behind this is, in general, the ascent that takes place during davening, it happens and it's done through malachim and other types of intermediaries that carry and refine the davening. The Alter Rebbe brings down in Tanya, Shezau in the Gofif line umenashik line v'chulu. It says that the Malachim embrace the words of davening and they kiss the words of davening, and by doing so, they cause it to become more refined from the physical words of the person, that a physical word is not able to be elevated all the way above. So it needs to be refined and purified, and that refinement that the Malachim do enables it to rise up. That is all in a normal level, in a regular level of davening. But if the idea of davening is in the way that Yehuda approached, that Yehuda in general is the level of bittul. Where do we see it? Yehuda is bittul, k'dechsiv, like it says, v'tamod miledes, that she stood, she remained, she stopped giving birth. The level of v'tamod, shu inyan ha-bittul, the tefillas ha-midah. It's the idea of bittul, stopping, of the tefillah of standing still, meaning the tefillah shemoneh, which is also called tefillas ha-midah. So therefore, Yehuda shows and indicates a level of bittul, just like Leah said after the birth of Yehuda, or the Torah says after the birth of Yehuda, v'tamid meledes. Ubefrat k'sheba bittul da Yehuda b'ofen the Vayigash, especially when the bittul of Yehuda is in the way that he approaches, like we said before, the level that he goes all the way to the Elav, like we said before. So he's approaching that level. Shemoid al tachas bittul. It shows on the ultimate level of bittul. Azay magim miyad leloyim mitzayim chulu Elav mamish k'viyachol. Then we arrive immediately without any intermediaries, mamish to Elav, to him himself. How come? Why ordinarily does our davening need the assistance of malachim to refine it and purify it? And here, where there's the level of bittul and the ultimate bittul of Vayigash, he's leaving himself behind and so on, then we reach Elav without the need for intermediaries. It says, though I am exalted and holy, that's where I rest, but where do I have the true where do I specifically rest with the one that's low of spirit, the one that's feeling very much bittul? In other words, the bittul is a place where elikus comes down in. Therefore, when you have Vayigash, the level of Yehuda has the level of Vayigash, so then you reach Elav, Hashem's very essence, without the need for any intermediaries. Once you've tapped into the level of Elav to the level of the Ein Sof, so then it becomes the drawing down from above to below that we said, it's Bi Adoni, in me, my master, Shtei Mesrei, which is Bi Brochsem Tzois, the 12 middle brachas, the level of numerical equivalent of the word Bi, Shayadam Nimshal Mchinas Adoni, through these 12 middle brachas of Shemoneh Esrei, where we ask our personal requests, comes down from my master, that doesn't need any intermediaries as well. Malachim also serve as agents, as representatives, as shluchim. That's a literal meaning of the word malach, both for bringing things up and also bringing things down. In this case, It's Adoni does it. Adoni comes down into the physical brachas as well.